Am I live? I think so. Hi guys. I'm going live today. Sorry I missed last week's. It's a bit of a chaotic week. I'm trying. Oh, I do this every single. Here we go. Share. Every single time I can't find the URL. How is everyone going? I wish I could do all of these things before going live, so I'm like not on live and just doing things. Post it on Instagram. Hi guys. Hello everybody. Thank you for joining me today. How's everyone's weeks going? And can you hear me properly? I hope so. I am just posting to Instagram that we are going live. This takes a long time and I'm so sorry. How's everyone going today? Are you autistic? Is it Autism Gamer? What's your name? Hi Angelica. Hi Becco. So, today we're going live to answer the questions that were asked yesterday, but also if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them anytime. How are you? I'm good. Just had a bit of a rushed morning, but we're here. We made it. How's everyone's morning going? Well, I don't even know if it's morning everywhere. I'm just posting to Instagram. Sorry, guys. Okay. Done. I did it. James. Nice to meet you, James. It's so funny when everyone has their like usernames. I know your usernames, guys, like when you repetitively come to my lives, but I don't actually know your names if your name isn't in your username, which mine isn't either. So do you guys know what my name is? Hi, Jessie. Hi, Sharifa. There's so many people on. That's awesome. How is everyone? I am going to be going through, if you guys don't have any questions, yesterday I asked for some questions. Here we go. Does melatonin help with sleep? Interesting. It's interesting you asked that because I'm actually doing something with Jacob where we're trialing taking him off melatonin for a little bit. Just heard of many studies and like there's no studies that have actually studied like the long-term effects of melatonin. And also like people talk about how melatonin gives them nightmares. I don't even know if I'm doing this to Jacob. We've cycled off melatonin before, but it's just not worked out well, so we had to put him back on it. But who here is on melatonin or their kids on melatonin? It's night in the UK. Nice. I have almost 3-year-old autistic granddaughter with irregular sleep. Will her irregular sleep get regular? I can't tell you that. And from our experience, it's still irregular. So I'm sorry to say I don't have an answer for you. You can try various things, but I think, sometimes it's like, it's, there's no reason for it, it just is. So I'm sorry. Oh, you're good, Jessie. That's awesome. What is everyone doing today? Or did today? That's already had a day. Zopicone helps me sleep because of my autism and ADHD. What is that? I want to look that up. Can you tell my child doesn't sleep? Zopicone. Strong sleeping pill. Do you think that's because you have to take a stimulant medication during the day, so like at nighttime it's hard to fall asleep? I feel like that might be the case for Jacob too. I don't know. But it sounds like that is a medication for adults and not for kids. Hello from the USA. Hi, guys. So, question number 1. That doesn't even make sense. Can you guys interpret this for me? Does Jacob and Jazz have any leave the house must-have? Oh, must-haves. Okay. So when they leave the house, they have any must-haves? Jacob's Jacob's pretty good at the moment. When he was a bit younger, he used to have to take his dummies and his honey bear and had to fill up his hands. But nowadays, he doesn't really take too much. Sometimes he'll take bubbles. Sometimes he'll take not much else actually. So he'll always have a bottle like of juice or water. Jazz has to take toys every time she goes out of the house, so I don't know what that is about. Do your kids have to have any must-haves that they must take out of the house every single time? What's your input on ABA? Do you think 8 hours a day is too much for a 3-year-old? Yes, I do. I don't try and impose my views on anyone, but 8 hours a day for a 3-year-old, that's a lot. And they're only 3. But, oh, okay. We did ABA therapy, and whilst there were things that I don't regret about it, because some of the things did help us and help Jacob a lot, I don't agree with everything that ABA does. Certain parts of it I do, but we took Jacob out of ABA therapy and have seen a big change in him since then. He's a lot happier. He's a lot, more himself. And I don't think that was because of the ABA therapy. I just think he was doing too much. He was only doing 2 hours a day. So I think 8 hours a day is extreme, in my opinion. What do you guys all think? I don't know. Does Jacob have an OT? My nearly 4-year-old does, and I just don't feel like it's helping him, and it's just another therapy. If it's not helping your child, take him out. You have to think about your child as a whole. Like, what are their goals? What do you want to work on as a family? And if one of those goals is towards like a sensory aspect or sleep or food or anything like that, then an OT may be able to help you. You also may not have the right OT. Some OTs are good, some OTs are not very good. And that just goes with every therapy situation. What do they do in therapy? I'd love to know. I think it's too much. That's why I asked. I think we might go for 4 hours instead. Just be careful. Like, I think it's just, you just have to be mindful of what the signs of burnout are in your child, and are they doing therapy for that 4 hours, or are they giving them breaks? Are they just doing some play for some of that time? So you got to like really think about what that 4 hours looks like for your child. If they're doing therapy for 4 hours, that's a lot for a 3-year-old who just wants to play. But yeah, I'd say for any like therapy, it's all a trial and error. If you want to trial 4 hours, if you want to trial 2 hours, Jacob would just do 1 hour to start off with, and then we just worked our way up. But I think that's a good way to do it, like just to like work it up. But it's up to you and your family what the goals are, what you're okay doing. They go to his daycare once a week. He's only had 5 sessions in office and it was just play therapy. Yes, so majority of therapy under the age of 5 is play therapy. And it may not look like that anything's going on. It may not look like they're not doing anything, but kids learn so well during play. So I think it's important that you recognize that therapy at that age is play based. And but yeah, I think that it's hard when it's done at daycare. Do you get any notes or anything about what happens during the session? Maybe you can organize for it to be like one session to be with your child, one session to be just talking with you and discussing goals and how strategies and all of those things. Can I read a story for Jacob? I could, but he probably wouldn't be interested. He might be listening. I read books all the time with the kids around me. They don't necessarily sit down next to me and watch the story, but something I learned really well off of Adina, who is a speech therapist. She's neurodivergent herself, and she has a practice on Instagram called Play Learn Chat. Something I learned from her is that you don't necessarily just have to read a book how you would normally read a book, typically read a book. Sometimes reading a book may mean they're flipping the pages. Sometimes playing with a book means, reading a book means, you reading it and your child's over on the other side of the room. Sometimes it might mean it's an instrument and you're tapping on it. Like it just doesn't, when you're introducing kids to books, it shouldn't be like, oh, come on, we've got to read the whole page before flipping it. Like it's not a big deal if we're going to change the page if they want to. You got to keep them interested, and if you read a book a traditional way, it sometimes doesn't suit all kids. Little Da Vinci sleep aid will help kids sleep peacefully. Oh, I'll have to look that up. Little Da Vinci. What does it do? Little Da Vinci. Is it like a meditation app or something? She just sends an invoice and no notes. Thank you so much for your help. Where do you live? Do you live in Australia? I would be asking for some notes on the session so you know what's going on during the session. And yeah, I would be putting yourself in there more, talking to the therapist more and asking them to like discuss how you're going to do therapy with your child and what goals you're going to be working on. I will admit though, not a lot of therapy happens in therapy, like in the session. With Jacob, definitely not. He'll just play. But it's when she writes notes and she discusses things with me, that's when I think that the occupational therapy is helpful. Yeah. Yeah, you're in Victoria. Okay. Definitely ask for some notes and maybe, yeah. I don't know, if you're not happy, then I would move on. I have to say thank you because your videos about the signs of autism was one of the first ones I saw. You always stay so calm and positive, and that gave me a lot of hope and courage. When I was just suspecting my son to have some signs. Well, thank you so much. I will say I'm not calm and positive all the time. um, it's hard because I'm trying to have this platform to like encourage other parents, and I want people to be positive, but I also want to be super relatable and also want you guys to know that it is okay to lose your shit sometimes. It's okay to not be positive all the time because it's just a reality of life. Although I do try and be positive on here, um, life can be up and down all the time, and you know, it is what it is. But I'm so glad that you took that from my video. A lot of people didn't take that little video very well. Um, Even though during the whole video I disclaimed that any of the signs that I said could be typical signs of a baby um, or a toddler, a lot of people were like, no, these aren't autism signs. They're typical, like every child does these. And I did say that throughout the entire video that these signs just by themselves may not necessarily be signs of autism, but together and continuously and repetitively, these affecting their lives could be signs of autism. So I know I'm not like a diagnostic expert, but I just shared from our experience, and not a lot of people did listen to that disclaimer. Its convenient, fast-acting liquid formula help children calm down, and it can help them fall asleep faster. Oh, Da Vinci Sleep Aid. I thought it was an app. Why did I think it was an app? Maybe I got app instead of aid. Interesting. I have to have a look at it. Is it like a magnesium formula or like a supplement? Um, right before I was doing this live, um, I was looking at like Christmas presents and stuff. I've been looking into like, because Jazzy has like a veggie garden. I've been looking into like butterfly houses and things like that. I think it would be really cool if she could have some butterflies visit her garden and be attracted to it. So I want to get some like of those plants that attract butterflies. That'd be really cool. She loves butterflies, but she hates that they fly away so quickly. So I want to get her like a little butterfly house, like ones that they go into, and the plants that they're attracted to, so that she can be near them and they can be all in the plants and stuff. She would be so cool. Right, I completely agree. You wouldn't be searching the signs if you weren't suspicious of things being abnormal in some way. Yes. I, it's hard because the videos that I've made about signs of autism, um, they've reached so many people. Like they've gone, I don't know if I'd say viral, but they've gotten a lot of views. And so a lot more people are seeing them just as a once-off video. They don't watch all my other videos. They simply watch one video and make an assumption. And I feel like it's so hard for me to come on here. Like those videos I made a couple years ago. So I made those videos simply to share the signs that Jacob had at particular ages of his life. And this is just from our experience, and people took it way badly. Like a lot of people were like, some people were really, really mean about it, and they were like, oh no, it's just it's just your parenting that caused autism. And people would say, no, they're not signs of autism. And I feel like a lot of parents were like, oh, like you're going to scare people into thinking their child is autistic. And I feel like that's such the wrong mindset to have around autism. But anyway, if you guys want to see those comments, oh my gosh, go to my channel and like I think it's early signs of autism. The comments I have stopped replying to because they're just people that are looking for attention, I think. Anyway. Oh, hi Whitney. How are you? It says spray. Oh, it's a spray. You put it in their mouth or on their bed. Oh, hi Winnie. Here for my weekly company while we get ready for school. Awesome. Yay. I love that, like, because I'm doing this continuously, like weekly. I think I missed last week, but weekly, it's cool. Like everyone comes back and we're talking. It's awesome. Bunnings has packs of flower seeds that attract bees and butterflies, not in the seed section. They were near the bug houses. So I want to get, I don't know, I've seen like these little dishes that you can get because apparently butterflies like to like flap in the water, I assume, but I think there's something else added to it to attract them to it. I don't know. But I think I've seen like the butterfly houses that have the dish out the front for them. We have little like square vegetable gardens, and so I have another one of those that I want to do up for her, but I want to put a butterfly house behind it, and like I don't know. I feel like I'm too impatient for seeds. I think I need to buy the actual plant. I am so impatient about that stuff. Like I want instant gratification. I don't want to like work on it until it grows. What are your feelings about those who use CBD for autism? I mean, I think it's great if it works for you. I don't know. I think there's a lot of studies. I think it's natural. I think go ahead if it's legal or available to you or prescribed to you. I think it's good to do it in collaboration with your doctor, but yeah, I've heard great things about it. What do you guys think about that? Where do they sell Little Da Vinci? Amazon. Interesting. A few of you know about this stuff. It must be good. Let me look it up. Little Da Vinci. Da Vinci. Sleep. Interesting. Or you can get it on iHerb. I get Jacob's melatonin on iHerb. Supplementing melatonin can help your child have a healthy night's rest. Convenient and great tasting. Da Vinci Laboratories. Sleep Tight is perfect for kids who have trouble calming down at bedtime. Yeah, we're kind of doing a melatonin detox at the moment. I think it could be helpful if it sounds like it's melatonin to me. So yeah, I'm currently filming a video on this, so I don't want to go into too much detail, but we are doing kind of like a detox of melatonin at the moment, and yeah, I'm excited to see what that does for Jacob. I'm autistic and have my medical card. What does that entitle you to, Whitney? What, like, I know that's over in America, but I don't even know what the laws are here over in Australia. Is CBD legal, like the oils, like medical? I don't know. I don't know too much about that stuff. And can they give it to kids? Helps with my anxiety. So it does help you, Whitney. That's interesting because I've heard so many good stories about it, and yet it's still so taboo. Like people aren't talking about it much, and I don't think doctors are talking about it much. But I've heard such successful stories about it, so interesting. Do I like shellfish? No, I don't like any fish. I'm not a fish person or a seafood person. I am very much a vegetarian. CBD products are sold over the counter here in Maui. Good stuff. I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry. Um, sold over the counter. Interesting. But that's like the okay. I don't know much about this stuff. So like there's the stuff that is illegal, obviously, and then there's CBD products which are like medicinal, right? I don't know much about this. Almost missed your live meeting. That's okay, Brian. You made it. We got here. I've heard good things about magnesium salts in the bath to help with sleep. Yes, we actually bought, I think we got it off Amazon. We got a huge tub of Epsom salts for Jacob, and now he won't take a bath. But I actually think right now he's been taking outdoor baths, so I might actually put some in his, like he has like a little shell outside. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna remember to do that. Probably won't remember. It's up to the states here. Interesting. CBD isn't covered by PBS and is super expensive and hard to get prescribed. So in Australia, Winnie, can you be prescribed with CBD for like sleep or that's so interesting because it is such a natural product and it's not covered. That's so bizarre, but obviously so Australia. Anyway. Have you heard a YouTube channel called Autism Family? Yes, I have. I actually subscribe to them. They're a good channel to watch. Do you use Auslan with Jacob? We did for a certain amount of time. However, now we're kind of using more of the AAC device and words. Bless you. Thank you. Sorry, I had to sneeze. How do you get Jacob to eat so many different foods, or was this something you never struggled with? Yes, we did struggle with this. I think we still do. I feel bad talking about this because I know that there's kids that are so much more limited than Jacob is, but he is still very rigid and very limited on what he eats. Some of the foods that he eats are particularly healthy, so a lot of people are like, oh, he eats so well. And I'm like, yes, but also like eats vegetarian sausages every single day. There's a fly. That's going to annoy me. Buzzing around. Oh no. um, Food. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, so his foods consist of vegetarian sausages, salami, sandwiches, fruit. He does well with fruit. He doesn't eat any veggies unless I put them a little bit of spinach in his smoothie. He'll drink a smoothie sometimes. I'm trying to think what else he eats. Like he obviously eats like chips and junk food as well, but those are the kind of the things that are like healthy that he'll eat. Which, yeah. Veggie sausages are expensive if he eats one packet every day. He literally eats 6 sausages at once. And that's his dinner. So like I'm not complaining that he doesn't eat much, but I am complaining because I'd like him to eat more. How we got him to eat well. So way back when he was a little baby, not a little baby, when he started eating, he would eat everything, and he ate everything up until he was 18 months old. I'd put a vegetable in front of him, and he would eat it. 18 months, he went through a regression, stopped eating all those good foods, and got very fussy. I think the biggest thing, when he got really fussy, he wouldn't eat very much. He'd eat a lot of pasta. That's another food he likes, pasta. But I think when he went through his most fussiest stage, he would like just drink milk all day long and some other foods. So he was pretty fussy. What we tried to do is I would always, this is probably why he likes fruit so much. I would always just leave fruit out. I would always leave fruit on the table, apples on the table, bananas. Even sometimes I'd put them on the counters down low for him, like just have them there. And he would explore them, he would touch them, he would move them out of the way, he would just explore them. And I think it's cool that now he's such a fruit eater. Sorry, should stop drinking while I'm talking. He eats a lot of fruit now, so I think that is heavily to do with, I don't say heavily, somewhat to do with me leaving the fruit out everywhere for him. But also, I don't think it's the result of what I did. I don't want you guys to feel bad and think that you're doing something wrong when your child is a limited eater, because you're not. Obviously, you're caring about this subject and you want your kid to eat more. It comes down to like sensory preferences, and it comes down to the texture of things and the taste of things and the way that it feels in their mouth and all of that. So the kids have different sensory diets, and I think when you find that something that your kid likes, like we found out that Jacob really liked strong tastes, and he loved and he seeked that. So he would like seek salt and vinegar flavored things, and he would seek very tangy foods, like he loves mandarins, and I think that's why he likes like all the citrus fruits. So we discovered that he liked tuna from that sensory preference. We were like, oh, let's try tuna because that's a pretty strong scent. Let's try salami, that's a pretty strong taste. And so all of these things, we were able to find different foods because we knew that he liked strong tasting foods. So you really have to analyze your kid's diet and what they're currently eating and how you can create the same similar sensory feeling with another food. If they like crunchy foods, you can go over to another crunchy food. It's a lot of trial and error, but I don't think I have all the answers. I think that's what therapists are for. I missed a lot of messages. I'm not a doctor or a nurse. Sorry if that confused anyone. I am not a professional. Was Jacob able to sign back to you? Very occasionally. And it would take a lot of work for him to do sign back to us. Yes, an acquaintance uses it for anxiety. I'm not even sure how she found a prescriber, and she had to get it shipped in from overseas to fill the script. Oh, that would be expensive. I can do Makaton, sign language, BSL. Interesting. I've always, I did a course a while ago with doing Auslan, which is the Australian Sign Language, and I would have wanted to do more, but I didn't have the time. So, can Jacob follow instructions, like put the milk in the fridge? Okay, if it's part of his routine, yes. So if I pour his juice, I'll say put it back in the fridge, and he'll put it back in the fridge. If it's not part of his routine, I don't know. I don't think so. Oh, actually, I'll say shut the door, and he'll shut the door. But there's only particular things that he'll do. If I say, like, give me that hat, I don't think he'll give it to me. Or if I say, put this on your bed. I don't think he'll do that. I think if it's part of the routine and he's used to doing it, I think he can respond to that. My son wants to eat as many bananas as he can. That's good. Bananas are awesome. They're the best fruit. Jacob can eat a lot of bananas. He went through a lot of stages where he would eat a lot of bananas, and I was like, oh, well, they've got a lot of melatonin in apparently, so it helped me with his sleep. It never helped his sleep, but does Jacob love to play musical instruments if you have one? We don't have any. We actually have little drums that occasionally he'll use, but we don't have any. But I'm actually looking into music therapy, and he's on a wait list, I think, going to start next year. So I'm really excited to see how music therapy helps him, because he does like music, and every time he's come across an instrument in the past, he's been like attracted to it. So I think that will do well for him. I was a picky eater as a kid and still pretty selective as an adult, but I've grown to like foods I didn't like as a child. Yeah, I think you got to consider that as well, right? Like, I think for me as well, as you get older, your taste buds change. So, like, yeah, as they get older, things will change. And I've already seen that in Jacob, like, things will change. I'm fussy when it comes to food. I think to a point I am too. Jordan called me fussy. I just like I like very simple things, and Jordan's more of like the complex things. So, for example, if he makes a sandwich, he'll be like, let's chuck everything in the fridge on this sandwich and put the sandwich on top and eat it. And I cannot think of anything worse. Like, give me a little bit of tomato and avocado and I'll be fine. Or like, just sometimes I'll just have bread and butter, and he hates that. He's like, you're not going to put anything on it? I'm like, no. And sometimes I'll just put avocado, and he'll be like, you're not going to put anything on it? You want sauce? You want anything? And he'll go through the list of things. I'm like, Jordan, the simpler the better is for me. My 4-year-old only eats specific yogurts. Yeah, that's hard. And a specific like brand as well. Like, I hear a lot of kids, when brands try to change their recipes or change their packaging, it can be really, really effective for kids, or like it can affect them a lot. Thank you so much for the advice. I will try the leaving food around my son and see if that gets some results. I've also heard of just like exposure. So, like, not necessarily putting your like healthier food on their plate, but what you'd give them normally, just give it to them, and maybe like a plate next to it of your food. So it's there and they're exposing themselves to it. Like, they can see it and they might smell it. It actually took a long time for Jacob to eat the foods that he's eating now. So we would always put it next to him and always make sure there's a safe food in front of him. That's the biggest food. The dietitian that I spoke to, she said she prefers like, there's like 3 sections to like a separated plate. You know, there's separated plates that have like the separation things. So the biggest part should be the safe food, and the second biggest part should be the sometimes like food. So you've seen them eat it before, but they may not eat it. And then there's another one. The last one should be the smallest amount of a food that they may not eat or you're trying to expose them to. So big, medium, small. Is there any way to feed your kids some blended fruits to make some fruit smoothies? Yes, but if they like fruit smoothies, is a different story. You can always make it. Jacob likes smoothies, so we're lucky in that aspect. He has gone off them in the past, and so I've had to go back to just fruit for a while in his smoothies, and then slowly add some spinach in there. Does Jacob sleep in his own bed alone, or do you co-sleep? So for a long time we did. I would sleep in his bed. I found that he slept better when that would happen. But all of a sudden, about a month ago, I think it was, all of a sudden he was just like not having it. He just pushed me out of the bed every time I would go sleep in there. And I was like, okay, so you don't want me in here. So now I don't sleep in the bed with him, but in the middle of the night when he wakes up, he comes into my bed. Melatonin will help your children's sleep start from a lower, then go work slowly up to them. Yeah, I think it's good to consult a doctor about melatonin as well. Okay, I'm going to head off now. Thank you guys so much for joining. I loved the conversation. You guys always ask such good questions and keep the conversation flowing, which is awesome. I will be back on next week, same time, same place. And I'd love you guys to join me. Thank you so, so much for all of your support in everything that I do. So, Jacob does speech therapy and occupational therapy, and hopefully music therapy next year. Sorry, answer that